It disappoints me how there are a few characters in Season 2 that I feel as though definitely had a lot of potential to become great characters, and one of those characters is Mike. Though we only get to witness him in action for the latter half of Season 2, he demonstrated some qualities about him that gave off potential to become something greater. Of course, obviously there being a few key factors as to why he didn't make the mark. So for today, I want to go over as to how Mike could have been a great character in Season 2 of Telltales The Walking Dead. Now the first introduction that we get of Mike is when our main group arrive at House after getting captured by Carver. We see him scoff the group out for making too much noise, as well as if you try to interact with him during the same time, Mike gets irritated telling you to get lost. Despite Mike being very standoffish, we do get informed by Reggie that Mike was the one that saved his life, in regards to him getting bitten and cutting his arm off to prevent him from turning. We do get an idea that Mike is not all bad. Knowing the story, we do see him and the rest of the group leave House successfully after discussing how to leave, eventually everyone meeting up at Parker's Run. The best way I can describe Mike as a character is that he's more so the backbone of the group. There's quite a few things that he does that deem him more so to be a helpful teammate, but doesn't get that much recognition for doing such things since he's a side character. For example, him carrying the water after Clementine and Bonnie decide to go to the nearby museum to see if the area is safe for Rebecca to have her baby. Another being where he can either decide to help Sarah or Kenny, or take the water back to the observation deck for Rebecca to use, any of these three choices being a help to the group in one way or another, in addition to looking after AJ at times when it mattered. Which I wish they could have extended the scene of him and Kenny taking out the walkers a little longer, because to be honest, it was pretty badass seeing those two side by side for a moment. Furthermore, I don't know if you guys noticed, but going back and replaying Season 2, I've come to a realization that Mike is unironically hilarious. You can tell personality wise the guy is very laid back and down to earth, but at the same time is very funny.
Actually, I do it all the time.
First words I ever hear you say, and it's just some crazy, stupid shit. Crap!
So the knee is about halfway down the leg.
Yeah, okay.
Clem found a jacket.
That's great, but isn't Gray the, we can't put Rebecca in a Confederate coat.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Guess it's better than nothing, though.
It just walked on in like it owned the place. Figure it'd make a nice meal.
We can eat raccoon?
I'd eat the shit out of that raccoon. Not like, just that I'd be really happy to eat that raccoon. I am starving.
Oh, shit. They're climbing up!
What?
They're gonna make it up here!
Fuck!
Drop the deck!
Drop the... Are you fucking crazy? Clem, why don't you give her that coat we found? Sorry, about the color.
You really think I care about that?
You all right here?
Yeah. Go on and talk to him. I got Clem if I need anything.
Okay.
Here, just take the baby.
Okay.
See if you can calm him down a bit.
No, that's all you.
But the thing that made Mike from becoming something greater for his character is 1. Lack of screen time, 2. Arvo, and 3. Poor writing. Starting with Arvo, to recap for those who need a refresher, Arvo is technically supposed to be the second villain in Season 2 after Carver. While Jane and Clementine were at the observation deck checking to see if the spot was actually good for the crew and Rebecca to crash at, we see Arvo come by throwing out what we see later is medicine into the garbage can. Clementine and Jane apprehend Arvo as well as the medicine. Arvo claims that the medicine is for his sick sister, and so he pleads with both of them to not take the medicine from the bag. And so the choice of whether or not to take the medicine is in play, which in the end doesn't matter whether or not you take it, because later on the crew encounter Arvo's group and thus eventually get into a shootout with each other. Though some of Clementine's group gets injured, like Luke getting shot and Rebecca dying from blood loss, Arvo's group is no longer a threat as they all are dead, including his sister. From this point on, Arvo claims that he has a house that has food in it for them to take from, and so the group follow him so. From that point on to them getting to the house, Mike has this sort of weird relationship with Arvo in which any instance of him getting hurt physically or verbally, whether from Kenny or whoever, he's right there to defend Arvo. For argument's sake, let's give Arvo the benefit of the doubt. Now I do have a theory in regards to Arvo and the main reason as to why everything happened since he encountered Clementine and Jane. My theory is that Arvo was throwing out the medicine in the garbage not to actually throw it out, but to hide it from his own group, the same people that were at the shootout. The reason I say this is that I believe that the group that he was with wanted the medicine more so for drug use, and so Arvo was just stashing meds for him and his sister for later use for themselves. Since you can see later on that his sister, the person he said was sick, is clearly not, as she participates in the shootout. The only explanation I can give in regards to why the choice to keep the medicine or leave it is practically useless since we encounter the Russian group anyway, is that Arvo claims that the medicine was stolen by Clementine's group regardless to save his own skin. So maybe Arvo the whole time was trying to de-escalate the whole situation by making it to where his group steal our main group's things whole time playing along so that in the end he can keep the medicine that he took from. Or perhaps Mike and the others saw through the plan, or since his sister did die in the shooting that they have sympathy for him. Overall, it's still hard to believe. If you really sit and think about it, this random guy comes and walks towards your group claiming that your group can help his group, lies about his sister being sick, lies about being hurt, thus ambushes your group with his, which by the way, this action to go bullet for bullet with each other in the shootout is the main reason as to why his sister got killed. With all that, going back to Mike, who got shot in the process of that, still defends the guy. This leading to my point of where the poor writing comes into play, which makes the relationship with Mike defending Arvo even greater due to the narrative Season 2 story, where Kenny is the bad guy, and so let's make everyone either die, or somehow someway paint it to be like that, to have a final showdown with him and Jane, which that fight in itself doesn't make sense, but I digress. It's just with defending Arvo from the start, where Mike first meets him, going to him multiple times to take care of him, travel all the way to his house for supplies, and which costed Luke's life, coddled him again, to then finally decide to betray the group by attempting to leave in the same truck Kenny got working to go with Arvo and Bonnie. Oh, I forgot to mention that this same kid shoots Clementine to escape, probably in a means to get revenge for his sister. Yet you say that this same kid went through so much already.
I'm gonna have a word with Kenny. He doesn't have to treat him that way. Kid's been through enough.
If you want a great example of someone who's been through a lot, how about Clementine? But that's another topic for another time. It just really disappointed me because the guy was cool up until the point where Arvo came into the picture and practically ruined his character to have him betray the group in the end. Plus there was some things missing that I feel should have been brought up sometime from first meeting Mike. One being his backstory, and even to this day I'm curious on what happened for him to get to Hal's as well as what happened to his ear. Overall, what could have made Mike a great character would have been more screen time, better writing in Season 2, Arvo not being there, and just more information about who he is, and how he came to be up until meeting the main group.